Devil in a red dress. Call 911, I'm a killer. You know I hate to confess. Bang, bang, got my hand on the trigger. The devil in a
Hello, Trabant.
Hello, Tito.
Guess who has resurfaced in the Sinosphere? Who has reappeared in the Chinese spotlight?
Hu Jintao.
That was good.
Yeah. Okay.
Much from him since he got removed at the last party meeting.
He's still resting, probably. Yeah.
Apparently he was very tired.
Yeah.
Now, who do you see here? Look at this lovable face.
Is it the Asian richest man, Jack Ma?
Well, I don't know about now. I'm sure at one point he was. Here we see him during happier times. This was around
Yes.
2017, I think, at his company annual gala. Let's have a look.
Wow. He's moving, clapping, hammering.
This is the Alibaba annual party in 2017.
I see. So this is for his employees.
Yes,
gift.
yes.
Thank you for your hard work of this year.
So here he is, I guess, with some of the management,
That's
you
it?
know, impersonating Michael Jackson.
It was very short.
There's a little more, but this reminds me, at these galas, at least this is a little fun, Sometimes you have to sit there through speeches just to get, hopefully get some money from the company, like 100 or a couple hundred yuan in a red envelope. For Chinese New Year. Yeah.
The highlight of the
Yes.
of the program.
That's right. Yeah, that's what you stay for. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay. So he is this kind of figure that he likes spotlights and he likes just showing off. He was always a show off.
Yeah. Kind of a showman.
Uh-huh.
Well, what do we know about Jack Ma? He was born in as Ma Yun, Yu as in cloud, in 1964. And keep in
Right.
mind, this is 4 years after the disasters of the Great Leap Forward, where a lot of people have starved to death in China. You had a population drop in those years, and
But
it just
1964, yeah, people are still starving.
they might have been, yeah. So in a sense, he might have been lucky to be alive, and it's also just 2 years before the Great Proletarian Cultural Revolution launched by Chairman Mao in 1966. So his childhood probably wasn't all that great. He would be just 10 years old in 1974. 12 years old by the time Chairman Mao died in 1976, and about 14 in 1978 when China slowly started opening up with Deng Xiaoping's reforms and opening up Kaifang. Yeah, so maybe he was, he saw some foreigners around for the first time, so this must have been interesting for him. Here we can see him. Here we can see his wife right here, Zhang Ying.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And
Okay.
what has she said about him?
She said that Mayun is not a handsome man, but I fell for him because he can do a lot of things handsome men cannot do.
Translation: he can make money. I think that's
You are
that's the
ugly,
number one
you
thing.
No matter
That
how
he can
ugly
do.
you are, but you have money, so in some way you are handsome.
Yeah, there is that halo effect. Yeah, you might, people do in China do give you some compliments when they want to say something. Can even be something which doesn't seem to make sense sometimes.
It's like
Yeah,
telling
but
that you are fat. but
It's
basically
meant
they're
well.
trying to help. trying to tell you that, oh man, you should do something about it. You should lose weight. But what if somebody tells you you are ugly? What can you do about it? I mean,
Yeah,
nothing.
that's.
It's not a very nice thing to hear from your own wife, but
But
maybe
she's
Jack Ma
still
doesn't.
giving him a compliment, so it's all
Yeah,
good.
that's important that you are rich.
Have you seen
And
they
so they
they
have.
they met at Hangzhou Normal University, the back then the Hangzhou
Oh,
Teachers Institute. That's what a normal university is. When they were
so
still students, what do you think they studied? If it's a teachers university, I don't know what she studied, but we know that Jack Ma studied English, and
English.
he was able
He,
to utilize those skills and become an English teacher. Here we see
this is
him.
very interesting story because it tells a lot about Jack Ma. When he was a little boy, maybe in his teen years.
In 1978, he would be around 14.
Yeah, he's 14, and more tourists are coming to
The
China,
next
and
years.
for
Yeah.
9 years, for 9 years, he rides his bicycle to the nearest hotel when the foreigners live, and he's offering free tour of the city to the US and European tourists. And then he develops his love for foreigners because, in my opinion, no matter it was for free, I'm sure they would give him something at the end.
Yeah. They
So
would probably
we
give
can
him
see that
some
foreigners
small.
are so generous and they have money. And Jack probably, just loves that and just motivates him to study English.
Yeah,
And
why not?
then
I'm sure
he
it would.
eventually
Why
makes it
not?
to the university after failing even ex- primary school exam several times, which is
I think no,
kind of
yeah. I think it was just middle school. Yeah, I mean, but yeah,
no
you
for
do
middle
have
school.
these yes, and especially nowadays, for example, the entrance exams to some schools are quite hard. Yeah,
Yeah, the Xiao Kai. Yeah. No, 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 no.
Xiaokao. I'm not sure if it's
Zhongkao.
Xiaokao, Zhongkao maybe,
Zhongkao.
as for
Zhongkao.
Zhongxue
Zhongkao.
for middle school
So
or junior high school.
it fell Zhongkao twice. Okay. From So eventually he makes it to the university, and uh, he becomes teacher in 1995.
We see him. I don't know when this was taken. I guess in a classroom, with some notes behind him. Gone with wind. He's missing the here, but maybe that was one of his students writing. Who knows? And anyway, you know,
Well, good enough to
good
teach at
enough.
university at the time. We are
I
talking
mean,
about early 90s,
yes,
probably.
that's
Yeah.
that's a very good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So then they got married with his wife,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yes, 3 children. I don't know how he achieved this because during the one-child policy, but never mind.
the good question. Yeah, I guess depends when they had them and how much money they already had at that time. Right.
Hmm.
I mean, if you have
His
enough
wife.
money, you're able to pay for things that normally you wouldn't be able to afford.
Right, right. So here his wife complains about how they neglected sacrificed their son, who was born in 1992,
Yeah.
to the sake of the company sending him to a childcare 5 days a week and only seeing him on weekends. And eventually Ma asked John, asking means arguing a lot and shouting a lot and threatening each other. So he asked her to step down as general manager, probably not an easy thing to do for her, and rededicate herself to become a full-time housewife. It's a terrible thing you ask your wife in China. And he told her, our family needs you more now than the company, and asked her to choose between money and their son. Well, this is what Chinese people do. I mean, Chinese women like to do. They don't like to look after the kids. If they don't have to, they don't find it important. So this is like a typical story of a typical Chinese family.
Anything can happen, and the society kind of tolerates this because there is still this idea that yes, if you're of working age, you should be spending all time and all your energy to making money, right? The grandparents can take care of the kids, or okay, if they're not around, all right, then maybe childcare it is.
Well, sounds logical, but it's a Chinese logic. I would say
But it
typical
does.
Chinese
It.
family.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It is kind of prevalent in China, unfortunately. The problem is it's simplistic. If your grandparents aren't, if your parents aren't quite as educated, why do you want them, taking care and teaching your children all the time? I mean, childcare is maybe okay, but you want to spend some time with your children as well.
You do. People are different even in China. Yeah. That's true. True.
Well, anyways, I think here we have do we have another picture? This might be with his wife, yeah, in their younger days.
Yeah, yeah, maybe, probably. Yeah. So he's his university sweetheart, which is kind of sympathetic, yeah, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah, this is in 1996. So this is right after Jack Ma has returned from the United States. After teaching for a
Uh-huh.
while at the university, he would go to the United States. And what did he see there?
Well, there is a. You are sitting over the computer.
He saw computers, the internet. Well,
Uh huh.
something very
Must
new.
have
So
been.
this must have, made a big, big impression on him.
So he was sent to America from the university. He was on his own trip,
Okay.
and he was introduced to the internet, which was very early on. 1995 is very early, not only for China, for anywhere in the world. And Jack is impressed by everything, by the yellow pages where you can find information about
All right.
everybody and every company. And suddenly there is some kind of like internet. What is it? You can find information from all around the world.
And
So what Jack must searches for first? Chinese beer. I don't know how. I don't know why he
after
did it.
after a couple of Qingdaos, I might get that idea too. I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
So much beer made in China, no website about it. That's terrible.
Why would he be searching for Chinese beer? Why do you think the Chinese beer is special?
I don't
Chinese breweries were introduced to China by the Germans in 19th century. There's nothing to do with China, but beer is becoming more popular in China this time. But yeah, well, anyway.
I think that was the reason because I'm just thinking, like if you have something like Yellow Pages in China, think how much guanxi, how many connections you have. You can contact anyone. So he must have loved loved this idea. So they started a company, right? Just China
Becomes the-
China
Yes.
Pages, right? Very simple.
He
Or
starts
Yellow
China
Pages.
Page.
Oops, wait. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. All right.
Yeah, China Pages was just the text and images where he just put some information about Chinese company and their business, just promoting them to the world.
It's kind of simple pages from the 1990s. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very crude. I guess it worked, but didn't someone then get then buy a different domain, China Pages, and basically ran them out of business?
Yeah, I'm surprised that it started as early as the 90s, that people were so quick when they saw that something was working. They unshamefully created or copied everything, and they didn't bother to change the name. They, instead of China Pages, they named the website China Page, and that's it. Jack was out of business.
That's terrible. Yeah, yeah. I mean, these were beginnings. People weren't thinking about these things at that time.
Maybe it was something normal,
I guess it was.
like people were naming companies like Abibus or something like three stripes, the four
Yeah, you
stripes.
did have that too. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like there's a joke, so why does your product have four stripes? More stripes the better. Right. So
Certainly, right. Makes total
so I
sense.
don't think anybody found it really wrong. It was just kind of like a normal. I don't think he was offended or he would file any charges against the company. It was just a, normal thing in China.
Basically, they were also learning as they went along, right? They were trying to figure out what to do with this with this internet, right?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah, so Jack starts a company named Alibaba.
Yeah, there we go. Well, I mean, after this failure, he went back to teaching. There is a small anecdote from these times, like he wouldn't know what an email was at first, or when they were
Yeah.
making a website for a client, because he was hoping to have some clients that he could make web pages for if he would already know how to do that. And when they were
Yeah.
uploading something for a client, they would have a bottle of Baijiu open on the table. And as the website was slowly getting uploaded to a server, they might take a shot every certain amount of kilobytes.
Right, right.
So,
Yeah, this is the joke when
happy
he
old times. Yeah.
yeah when he launched this first like China pages, and he at in the morning, and by noon they received like three emails, and his
It's
colleague
quick.
says, "Wow, you wouldn't believe Jack, we already received three emails." And Jack asked, "What's an email?"
So,
Right.
learning as we go along. So,
Yes.
yeah, failures are learning experiences too. So, back to teaching it is. But you did say, he bounced back, he recovered. And here we can
Now we
see
are in
the
1999,
Alibaba
and
group right here.
Jack starts Alibaba Group. Why is it called Alibaba?
I think it was one of the stories he read, about Alibaba and the 40 Thieves. It sounds kind of weird, and maybe in English or in other languages. Why do you want to name it after the 40 Thieves? But I think, that his idea was just, maybe like open sesame, a lot of connections with the world.
And Alibaba got very
Viewed
rich.
complete. Oh, right, there's that too. Yeah.
That's the story. Alibaba sees these thieves entering the cave, opening the cave by using the password
Right.
Sesame Open.
Open sesame. Yeah. I mean, Jack Ma. Yeah, obviously, what I said was that how Jack Ma likes to phrase it, but this probably stuck around
That's
with
how
him
he's there. How he
the way you're saying it.
how he saw himself. Like just
I
watch the
suppose he did.
others.
Yeah.
Spy on them, learn the passwords, and you just get their riches. And he didn't think of
What a
Alibaba as
great
a bad
method.
man. He was a good man. He took from the thieves and
Yeah.
gave to the poor and whatever, right?
No.
So, and by the way, Alibaba starts with letter A, which made it easier to find in any directories,
Yes, that's also another good point.
and it was very catchy. Baba in Chinese mean like father, and
Yeah.
Ali
It's
Baba
easy to write
sounds.
in Chinese as well. Alibaba. Yeah.
It's very catchy. It's very catchy word. So this is how they were thinking. Like, reminds me of a friend of mine who basically a very similar story like Jack Ma. He started his business also like in the 90s by going to Australia and came back. He started his business and became not very rich, but I would say quite successful. And like he looked like Jack Ma. Also, that's kind of slim height,
So he had that going for him.
slim.
Yeah.
Later, getting a little bit bigger in the waist, but like
More
slim,
success.
very
Yeah.
difficult, very similar figures like Jack Ma. I
Interesting.
don't know, it's coincidence. Very interesting, very interesting. And he was persuading me I should start my company and name the company UN.
Why yuan? Did he ever
We didn't know
explain it?
exactly what
Like
the
like
company would be.
Chinese yuan or?
United Nations. UN.
Oh wow! What a
And I
name!
was like, why? And he said, because everybody knows UN. Everybody knows the name. He didn't know what the company would be about, but he already had a name for me.
I mean,
You want
can you even do that? I guess you can. I don't know. I mean,
yes, probably you
good
can.
thinking. Yeah, use something that's common. Yeah, I think a
Yeah,
lot of Chinese businessmen think like this. A lot of
it was
business
very common
owners.
thinking.
Yeah.
Maybe not anymore, not so much these days, but they definitely till like 5 years ago. Yeah, it was very common. Like not copying only the name or just changing a few letters in the name, but basically copying the design of the logo.
That too. I mean, hey, do what's working. If it's working, why
Yeah,
change it?
yeah, yeah, yeah. No hard feelings. Yeah.
Makes perfect sense.
So Jack Ma
Here he is already
started.
probably talking to his Alibaba employees.
Oh, yeah, one of these motivational speeches,
Might be,
in
yeah.
which he was. No, he kept bragging about it, how he was motivating his employees, telling them to stand up, to to re-energize themselves, to work better, and So he liked doing these things, these gigs.
Right, yeah. I guess he had
Yeah,
practice as a lecturer, right?
he learned something.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
apparently. So how he started? He started his company, Alibaba, which very soon after 1999, China went from 2 to 9 million internet users, and 6 months later to 17 million. So internet was booming and operating costs are lower. So Jack can hire more employees, salaries are lower, so he can save money.
Hmm.
And then he contacts Goldman Sachs,
We
and they
have,
invest $5 million because they are looking for opportunities to invest abroad. And later in October, he meets a Japanese investor, Masayoshi-san.
by the way, this is not him. This is another Chinese business tycoon. This is
Tycoon.
Zhou Tsai.
Uh-huh.
He would also
Oh.
get investment from Goldman Sachs, I believe. Or he would also get foreign investment.
Mhm.
It wasn't just Goldman Sachs, but yeah, as you mentioned, this Japanese businessman,
Investor.
ethnic Korean, Zainichi Korean,
Uh-huh.
who would yeah give him some money. So it's easier to do business that way, right?
Yeah.
And keep
Yeah,
in
yeah.
mind, I mean, maybe this is a little bit later, but in the late 1970s, 1980s, maybe even in 1990s, when Japan was doing economically very well, China was very happy to work with them, and get some money, get some investment from Japan. So, at that time, the relations with Japan, after they were normalized, after they um, signed some diplomatic agreements. The relations were very good. When the money
Mhm.
was still coming in, and still a lot of opportunities for Japanese businessmen as
Probably
well.
China and Japan has had the best relationship that time.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
long
Yeah.
long
So
gone by
he
now.
now it's gone because as soon as China got richer and more confident, they brought up all these grievances with Japan for
Yeah,
no reason. Just
yeah. I mean, the
old
grievances
time sake.
are there, but why do we have to bring these
Yeah,
things up?
just for the old time sakes. So Masayoshi invested $20 million for 30% of the company,
Wow,
and it was very, very good investment. But in 14 years later, this investment turned into $50 billion.
it's a lot of money.
Yep. Alibaba at its peak was one of the seventh richest, biggest companies in the world. Yeah.
So, at some point, Jack Ma was able to gain a kind of a monopoly on the Chinese e-commerce marketplace. Not be able to retain that, but at least to have it sometime. And this allowed the company, to not only sell on the domestic Chinese market. Here we can see the logo for Taobao, the largest Chinese e-commerce platform within
Uh-huh.
China. But the Alibaba website would also be used for companies to sell their products abroad, right?
Hmm.
Uh,
Hmm. Hmm.
Definitely an extremely important thing for China because China wanted to export, right? This is how you can make money.
Hmm. So Jack basically copied everything. 2003, he copied eBay and started Taobao.
It's
Then
similar,
he
yeah.
copied, then he copied PayPal and started Alipay.
Oh, yeah. Let's look at that. So obviously, you have to have some kind of a payment platform, right?
Uh-huh.
To be able to pay there. I remember, for example, maybe in 2011, 12, you would still, in some cases, have to, buy some Taobao coupons at the post office, or it was a lot more
Uh-huh.
difficult to recharge. Then it's being digitalized. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. So basically, it was called escrow model when when an asset or money is held by a third party on behalf of two other parties, and
As soon as
and
the payment confirmation goes through, then the
yes, transaction is complete. The process of sending the goods is complete. Then also the transaction is complete.
yeah, very well
So
said.
yeah, yes, it's basically nothing new. Nothing new, but it was kind of monopoly, as you said. I mean, nobody challenged Jack Ma, nobody challenged Alipay, and the government was quiet about it because it was working, so they were happy.
Yeah. Once again, we can only speculate. What kind of business connections Jack Ma has. But in general, I mean,
Jack Ma
the
was a party member. He was a Communist Party member from the 80s.
mhm, mhm.
Also, which says something about his character. Why would he become a party member
Well, because
in the
that's
80s?
the yeah, but still that's the only way you're going to get to some position
Probably, probably. But say
in a
something.
one part. Not the only way, obviously, right? But
Yeah.
even if he wasn't, he would have to have some connections. You see, a lot of these, not a lot, but you hear stories from these Chinese businessmen, who maybe they wouldn't want to bribe someone at first, but then they might be harassed by someone or things would go, very difficult for them, so they would, eventually um use this kind of a business model based on connections.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
So here we see
Yeah,
the
so
Alibaba Group.
mhm.
The Alipay and the financial things have now been grouped here under Ant Group.
It's a little bit controversial,
Yeah.
probably. So he just moved Alipay under Ant Group, and then he planned to actually sell its stock on the in New York on the
New York Stock Exchange. Yeah.
yes, and then everything went down the hill, kind of.
Oh,
So what happened exactly? Apparently, it was about a speech he gave
well,
in
let's see if we can find that
2000.
speech. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
This is in 2020, the Bond Summit. So I guess this was in Shanghai. Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of like one of the more advanced cities in China. So let's see what he had to say. He mentioned that
Mm-hmm.
7 years ago we had no technology, no data,
17年以前，我们没有技术，没有数据，也对未来的判断不准确。
and there were
Okay.
kind of an inaccurate judgment about what would happen. So we made a lot of rules, what's allowed, what's not allowed.
我们制定了这个不许，那个不许。
By we, he's talking about government.
Yeah, I think he is kind of, trying to speak on the part of the whole country.
Yeah, he's looking for the whole country.
But then he says, but today we are able to solve some things
但是今天
Okay,
我们能够技术解决。
so let's do it.
with technology. So it's like, he's saying, now I have the solutions
Yeah.
rather than the system that put the rules in place, if you catch my drift.
有能力解决
What kind of problems with technology?
是
I don't know. That's a good question. Let's see what he says further, because he goes on and says that our young people today like
监
regulators.
管我们的
Uh-huh.
也像监管一样，总是喜欢
They always like to produce all kinds of new policy documents. So he is talking about policy
把
very
出各
clearly
种各样
now.
的新的文件
Yeah.
不允许这样，不允许。
Don't allow this and don't allow that. It seems like he's complaining, that he's not allowed to do this and that.
Oh, they made him
Stages.
very angry. They made him very angry about something. Something was planning with Ant Group.
Probably
didn't allow-
related to that. Yeah.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
Let's see. Does
完
he
了，
say
我想
anything
了个
else?
办法，叫加一减三。
Yeah. What was solution? +1 -3.
你要加一条规则，必须减三。
If you want
You
to
always
add
have to
one
make-
rule, you must subtract previous 3 rules.
But if +1 -3 sounds a little bit simple, no? It should be like I don't know, like pick one flower and drop 3 flowers or some, some name like it should be okay, something more beautiful,
He is a simple, technically
Yeah,
minded person.
it's not very poetic. Maybe that was the problem.
Sure it was. Yeah. And you see,
So-
he's saying like, this would be so good, if we could just, use the technology we have, to do these things rather than make some cumbersome
而且
regulations.
那你的规章制度越来越厚，是逼迫。
Yeah, he doesn't like regulation.
Don't reduce the number of rules, then your rules and regulations will get thicker and thicker. Yeah, it is very simple what he's saying.
和
Yeah.
系统也是不一样
Yeah,
的。
but he's
And-
kind of right.
And then he is in a way, yeah. I mean, obviously some rules are, there to, protect what businesses or customers or whoever, right? But I'm sure that, in China, in a lot of other places, a lot of business environments, they are cumbersome, right? And not
What do you
necessarily
say?
applicable.
Is that there are so many rules, so many regulations that they
This is good.
unconsciously they will break one of them sooner or later. No matter how
Break one or another,
Yes.
right? And then we all get
Yes.
confused,
it's not my fault. There are so many.
我们这个国家
Says,
Uh-huh.
theories and
把很
systems
多
are
学者专
different,
家经常混为一谈。
but people are not.
Different.
So
专家是干出来的，他
Yes,
干得很厉害，但不一定会总结。
country, we should give, we should acknowledge that an expert's
很
expertise
多
come
学
from
者
doing.
自己不具体干，但是他
啊
却是能够从别人实干的经验中
And whereas scholars, maybe they don't do the actual
总结
work,
出理论。
but
我认为只有专家
They
和
can
学者
summarize.
结合起来，才能把理
yeah. So he's basically saying like, the government is putting rules in place that they haven't thought about that much.
So basically, he's criticizing Chinese regulators or the government for lacking vision, saying the Chinese finance has no system, and basically comparing them to old people's club. Yeah.
Sound very nice.
Mm-hmm.
That some people might have taken offense. Yeah.
So after this,
The old people's
Um,
club was not happy.
in 2020, actually at the end, by the end of the year, Jack Ma disappeared. He was summoned to Beijing to the regulators. Ask him, what the hell, Jack?
What was that all about?
What was that all about? I mean, did we offend you somehow, or? Well, this is no. So 2021, Alibaba was fined 2.8 billion USD for antitrust violations, accusing the company of monopolistic conduct, and that Alibaba acted like monopoly. And but question is,
It's funny that
Alibaba was
they have
always,
seemed to have been acting like a monopoly for
yeah,
years. So
yeah,
why do you think this came at this? All of a sudden, this comes up.
because
Yeah.
he opened his mouth.
It's,
You should be quiet. If you are monopoly, just be quiet. You know, just
so the,
just follow our
so
orders.
kind of seems like a kind of a gentle reminder from the government that
After this,
we
after this,
we gave you this monopoly.
Alibaba fell from 545 billion dollars and lost in 1 year 344 billion dollars. And Jack Ma disappeared from public's eye and probably was detained for some time.
We don't know because there was no news about him.
Yeah. Eventually, July 2022, he must have fully given up control of Ant Group,
I see.
and now the Chinese Communist Party is fully controlling
Wow.
all the Ant Group, or all the companies that Ant Group was dissolved into.
Okay. I think so that the people who are in place now, that they have better party connections. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So he's out, kind of.
So
Yeah.
what's he gonna do now? Back?
Well, he's
Is
kind
it back to teaching?
Yeah, probably this is a picture from Japan.
Yeah, this is from May of this year, 2023. This is at Tokyo College, a research institute at the
Uh-huh.
University of Tokyo. So they
Uh-huh.
let him be a visiting professor until October, and then
Okay.
let's see. Maybe he's going to come back to China.
Yeah, it's a Tokyo College, a research institute at the University of Tokyo. Yeah,
Yeah.
and Jack is having lectures. Okay, it's like two-hour seminars about management philosophy and how they can achieve success, and something he likes to talk about a lot. So I'm sure he's enjoying himself. Yeah.
Let's see. It's been reportedly said that Li Qiang, Chinese premier, was persuading him to come back to China. So let's see if he'll be back after his tenure.
Yeah, they are reassuring investors
Tokyo
and entrepreneurs that it's safe now to invest in the country again. So they're asking Jack Ma to invest the rest of the money that they didn't steal from him, and help your motherland. This is time, Jack. This is time when we need you. Just no hard feelings.
So let's see if he does return, and what's he going to do next. Yeah. I think we should
Yeah.
invite him out for beer or something. We can
Yeah,
talk
when he
about
comes
Chinese
back.
beer. Maybe make another website.
In October, give him chance to say what he wants to say.
As we've seen him speak now, and when he speaks to foreign audiences, he's no different. I wonder what his lectures look like, because he is, sort of very open-minded, but he makes these very simple solutions. I mean, you remember when he was speaking with Elon Musk, and this was in
Yes.
Chinese state-run media, right?
Uh-huh. There was the World AI conference in Shanghai in 2019, and Jack didn't come out looking very smart.
Let's say that his genius didn't exactly shine.
No,
Over here.
not at all.
I mean, and if you look at Elon Musk as eccentric, then Jack Ma is way out of this world.
And I'm not that fond of the Mars
wondering
because
what
I
he's
think
doing
it's
there.
easy to go to the Mars when you go on the top of the hills of the building. Just the one step you go
He's
to
talking
Mars.
about
You know,
flying to
China
Mars.
today,
Why? That's what.
It's so simple, no need to do that.
This is what Elon Musk should be talking about, not him.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
saying,
yeah,
"What?"
yeah. I mean, why is he
He's
co-
basically-
commenting on that?
Before Elon Musk says something about flying to Mars, which is very important to him, Jack Ma is already just undermining his
Yeah.
his plans. Like why do you want to fly to Mars?
I mean, I guess, by now he's important, so, he can say his mind on whatever he wants. I suppose.
Yeah,
Let's
that's
see.
why they
we
call
have
him.
1,800 new babies born every year, which is not enough. First, we are going to have a lot of jobs. Second, we don't need a lot of jobs.
Which is it?
Look at you with great respect. We need heroes like you, but we need more heroes like us.
I think
Heroes
time,
like us. Yep.
We don't have much
You are
time.
heroes. Yeah, this is.
We don't have much time for what?
This is
We
like
don't
a
have much
friend of
time
mine.
to
He would
solve
like
the
to
neural
talk
link.
about himself and how he's clever and how he can find solution to everything. This is so common for these people. This is how they talk because this is like the rich uncle in the family that every meeting the family has, he just keeps talking about himself and giving. He just can't stop himself, from sharing his wisdom with everybody around.
Because nobody tells him no. Nobody challenges him. Nobody says, okay, be quiet. Or
Yeah, this is not time for Elon Musk to shut him up because Elon Musk is trying to look polite and he's kind of like trying to go along with him, but he's
not feeling very comfortable. Yeah,
No,
we can see it in his
he-
body language. Whereas
he's
Jack Ma,
struggling.
he's completely in his element. He's blissfully happy.
Yeah, he's out of control. Nobody can
Yeah. They are very sad.
shut him up. Somebody,
Computer will be
please.
smarter than human beings because computer can play chess better. I think you are stupid. To me, artificial intelligence is just like people worry a lot about this today. Are those people I call them called
He was so wrong. Jack Ma is so wrong.
called
He has no
college
vision.
smartness. Especially last 2 years.
Somebody should tell him. I mean, you're not necessarily someone who has, been keeping up with technology so much.
He says himself, "I'm not a tech guy."
And then why is
He
he
says
talking about it then?
Yeah, exactly.
Have some self. He's aware of that, but it doesn't quite translate to his actions.
No.
Years where people talk about AI, say human being will be controlled by machines. I never think about that. I think it's impossible.
He's not a big fan of sci-fi movies either.
99.99% of
It's
the
not.
predictions that human being had in history about the future, all wrong.
Including that one?
All the predictions.
Alon is, kind of taking a swipe
But
at
there
him
will
by
be
now.
more tools that
No,
human
no,
beings
he's trying to
will
still be very
create,
polite, not to
much
insult him
clever
or
than
make him
computers.
look,
That's my view.
Stupid.
And according to the science, right, humans can never create another animal that is smarter than humans. Especially when you have so many smart people, it's impossible to make another smart people.
I very much disagree with that.
No.
Okay?
Yeah.
Not
That's
true.
good. Computer may be
Elon
clever,
disagrees.
but human beings are much smarter.
And he's the
Yeah.
expert there.
Very simplistic.
Not. I don't know,
Funny to listen to. Let's see.
man. That's like famous last words.
It is.
So,
yeah.
The most important thing, like I said, the most important mistake I
Famous
see
last
smart
words.
people making is assuming that they're smart. They're not.
Yeah. So give me example what the animals or things that a human being made that is smarter than human beings.
you know, all physicists don't change their mind; they just die.
Second point is that about the go play chess. It's stupid. I hate the word AI called artificial intelligence. I call it Alibaba.
His major is in
intelligence.
English. I believe that his English should be a little bit better.
But I mean, you know, who were his teachers in China? That's
Yeah,
also
true,
a good
true.
question. Yeah. And maybe his English is fine. Maybe he just has pronunciation issues. You know, or when he
Hey, it's
speaks, he forgets some things, right? This is quite common.
Yeah.
Intelligence. Yeah. I never worry about the things that I cannot solve.
This is beautiful. Yeah. Let someone else worry about it.
I left other people to solve it.
This
nobody
is
can
his
solve it,
strategy. You know, we copy everything. Why should we innovate if we can copy it?
But you know what happens when you have to make something new? And what if there are some new regulations that you know that then you have to make something new? Oh no. So annoying.
Just let it be. That's my life.
If someone asks me, what do you
So,
think about
give
the
me-
Chinese regulators?
That'd be a good question, yeah. But anyways, we got an answer a little while later.
Example, what the animals or things that a human being made that is smarter than human beings?
So yeah. Anyways, it's a real joy to listen to some of his speeches. If you want to have a laugh, in fact, we have one more right here. This is another fun example. What can we see here? You know, here we see the this is a kind of a joke at the Chinese work culture that started to come around. You know, when China was, I guess, you know, trying to adapt to capitalism in in the 1980s, 1990s. You know, somebody came up with the idea. Yes, we must work harder than everyone else from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. 6 days a week. You know, maybe they still had working Saturdays at that time, so this kind of rank.
Gio
would be-
Gio Leo,
Yes,
996.
Gio Liu.
And Jack Ma said it himself that if you want to make China successful again, we need to work 996. He said it himself.
I'm sure he did. You know, what kind of a boss wouldn't want his employees to, you know, work as much
That's
for them as they humanly can? Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
Right.
Yeah.
God, I remember. Yeah, and these ideas, you know, they spread along like some evil wildfire in Chinese companies. I remember we had a boss, and our boss shared a video with the employees about some company, you know, supposedly at least working 3 or 4 a.m. in the office. You know, to kind of show, look how hard they are working.
Right. And there was the boss that was coming to work at noon,
Yes.
just before the lunch was served, and then she was basically she was staying longer, but she very rarely showed up before 12 o'clock.
But she would stay longer, you know, I guess to make sure that people still stay at work after.
Exactly.
5 p.m.
They would be embarrassed to leave on time.
I mean, yeah, you know, it was funny, yeah, and maybe before the end of the day, you know, they might say something inspiration like, "Yo, 抓紧时间, we gotta hurry up," you know, translate into English, catch the time. So funny. Yeah. Well, anyways, this is a that was the 996 speech was to the employees. But what about the newlyweds?
Okay, so what was his advice? To work 996?
Just, you know, just flip it, right? You already have it, just turn it around, you know. Works as good as new. Wow. Six times in 6 days. Does that mean 6 times a day, or at least once a day? I guess. I guess, but it has apparently it has to be good. Yeah. I guess, you know, to To what do a lot of Chinese people like to say in English? To relieve the pressure from working 996.
Okay.
Let me play this.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, it says that he basically tells married employees to have good sex with their spouses, at least 6 times in 6 days. What's the 9 there
Isn't
for?
it-
I guess that's up to everyone's
工作上
imagination.
我们强调996的精神。
996 the Jingshen. So that's the spirit of 996. I like this word Jingshen, this kind of a spirit, like the internet spirit. Where we're talking about the internet, or this kind of a work spirit. It's a little funny. Let's see a little bit more. Okay, everyone's clapping.
生活上
Everyone
我
likes
们
it.
要669。
But in life, we have to do 669.
什么叫669？
And what is that?
6天
6 days,
6次，
6 times.
关键要
You have to, yeah. Then he does. He doesn't say, yeah.
所以
To have
But
sex
it's
for
obvious,
6
yeah.
days, 6 times, with duration being the key.
The key. So chill means you gotta last long. Is basically what he's saying.
Number 9 means lasting long.
Yeah, because it sounds like the character for Kyo, which means long, basically, in one way. Yeah, here we can see it. Here is the character for something which lasts a long time, pronounced similar to the number 9.
创造大批的男神和女神。
Yeah,
什
I'm
么
very
是
sure
男
you
神？
heard this joke somewhere. So
男神
Probably, yeah, and he thought, oh, well, this is amusing. Maybe, but maybe that's a good idea. Yeah, maybe I can mention this.
So this is 2017, right?
I guess.
And
it is.
he organizes this event when he asks his employees who got married that year probably,
Yeah.
so to wear wedding costumes, and they are dressed like they are just about to walk through the aisle, but probably any time of the year they got married. So he summoned them up, and he just gave him this inspirational speech.
Why the hell? Maybe there was a hongbao at the end. So in that case, they would have stayed and listened.
He should be wearing a Michael Jackson costume while he's doing this speech.
有996的精
Some
神
of the people say,
生活上
okay, if
能
we have to work 996, okay, so I work from 9 to 9, probably I will come home at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Now I still have sex,
Yeah, and
And
every
like-
day, and you gotta last long too. Let's not forget that.
yeah. But on Sunday you can rest, like in the Bible.
Finally.
Oh man.
But this is a real gem.
完成
Yeah, right,
669的硬指标
It。says something about him. He likes this kind of gigs.
Yeah,
he likes to
yes,
entertain
yes,
people.
yes.
He likes to be seen like this, not only rich but also like a funny uncle, easy to approach. I'm actually one of you. I'm self-made man. Once I was like you guys, but now I'm just rich. Just happened to me. Because I'm clever and successful, but I'm like one of you. He learned something from the West Indian. He must love the West. He must love Japan, because they actually made him what he is now. Not China,
That's a good point.
not
yeah.
the government,
Yeah.
not the Communist Party. Everything he has, he should be thankful to the West.
Yeah. He got a lot of money, a lot of funding, a lot of ideas. Yeah. And now he's happy in Tokyo. So let's see. He will have a few more speeches in the future. I think we'll see.
I think he's
still see
staying-
something from him.
He's staying in Tokyo with his old Japanese friend, Masayoshi Son.
Yeah.
That what he's doing after he lost like more than 50% of his money because the party gave and the party has taken away.
Like in the book of Job, God gave, but
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So
take back.
yeah. So let's see.
I think we will still have some
他
entertainment
们叫
from
女
him
神，
in the
女
future.
神就是能够帮助
Yeah. And what about ladies? Ladies have got to help.
并监督
Ladies
男生落实996和669
And not just help the men with the 996 jobs, but also help them with the other task
的软实力。
Okay.
to accomplish these goals. All right. Well, I'm quite looking forward, to his next speech, or if he.
Yeah,
if
me
he-
too,
There,
me
there
too.
will be something interesting in the future. I believe there will be.
Yeah, he's a funny guy.
So let's keep an eye out, and let's see if we can talk about any other famous Chinese people in the future.
Okay.
All
Yeah,
right.
looking forward to it.
All right, let's do it. Then take care, and I'll see you next time.
Yeah, see you next time, Tito.
Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.